I think you and I both know the landscape that we live in today, both sports-wise and non-sports-wise, right? This kid's on the wrong team. She's got the wrong skill set to handle the physicality of that league, and she's a rookie. We are in a red-blue, and if you're red, you can't agree with blue, and if you're blue, you can't agree with red. Whereas most things are in the...
You know that feeling when a rookie comes in and shakes things up? That's what's happening with Caitlin Clark right now. And guess who's feeling the heat? None other than the legendary Gino Auriemma. This is gonna be good. Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So, did you click the subscribe button? Great, thank you so much. Now, back to the video. When were newcomers expected to pay their dues? Apparently, Caitlin Clark missed that memo. She's reinventing the major leagues, not simply playing in them.
If you're a college player and you're a great college player, like Caitlin was, the delusional fan base that follows her disrespected the WNBA players. Like, she's third or fourth in betting odds on being MVP at the WNBA. These people are so disrespectful and so unknowledgeable and so stupid, but they were tremendously disrespected. And none of them are going to say it, but human nature is, okay, this kid's coming into the league. And Diana said it best. This kid's in for a rude awakening.
And believe me when I say that she has the entire basketball community in a frenzy. Then why is everyone talking about this Caitlin Clark, and who is she? Imagine a guy who, on average, finishes each game with 19.2 points, 5.7 rebounds, and 8.4 assists. Not only is that excellent, but it's crazy for a novice. Hold on, things get better. Not only is Clark hitting her goals, but she's also shattering records left and right. In only her debut season, she broke almost 60 records. 60! That's more records in one season than some athletes smash in a lifetime. And get this, in only one game, she contributed 19 assists. Folks, that is not a typo. 19 helpers in a single match, as a novice. This is where things become really fascinating though. While everyone else is playing checkers, Caitlin Clark is not only playing basketball, but also chess. Her passing ability, scoring touch, and court vision are all as if she were holding a crystal ball in her hands and had eyes in the back of her head. Okay, she's good, but is she really that good? Is probably what's on your mind right now. The Associated Press has provided us with an answer to that query. In the MVP rankings, they all agreed that Caitlin deserved to win. Are you aware of the rarity of that? Similar to witnessing a unicorn soaring on a shooting star. It simply does not occur. The shocking thing is that Caitlin Clark still placed fourth in the WNBA MVP voting in spite of everything. Fourthly, is it really true? It is comparable to coming in fourth place in a race as the only person with a jetpack.
There's a huge target on this kid's back. I thought Cameron Brink said something really smart. She said, now they're expecting this rookie class to be perfect. Targeted by society, targeted by her looks, targeted by her reputation, targeted by the disrespect that they've shown to the WNBA. This rookie class isn't even one of the best rookie classes in the last 10 years. But they've been put out to be that because the way social media is today.
People are chatting, disputing, and debating over it. Does the voting system have a flaw? Exists a bias against rookies of any kind? Or is Caitlin's takeover just getting started? Let's examine those statistics in more detail. Maliki, she is hitting an incredible 90.6% from the free throw line, 41.7% from the field, and 34.4% from three-point range. That's exceptional rather than merely good. We are discussing a guy who can score against any defender at any time from any spot on the floor. However, it goes beyond the figures. It has to do with Caitlin's style of gameplay. You really can't teach her this confidence and swagger. You are unable to look away from her on the court. With the ball, she has the magical ability to make passes that shouldn't be possible and make shots that defy sense. Not to be overlooked are those two triple doubles. As a novice. How many players in WNBA history have recorded numerous triple-doubles throughout the course of their careers? On one hand, you could count them. In her debut season, Caitlin succeeded. Fans are going crazy over Clark, but one well-known figure in women's basketball isn't feeling the excitement. Does Gino Auriemma see things that we do not, or is he just an old school guy? Let's explore this titanic battle that has everyone buzzing. Caitlin Clark isn't exactly receiving a red carpet treatment from coaching icon Gino Auriemma, who has more championships than most coaches have wins during the regular season. How did he respond to her quick ascent? To put it mildly, it's not all champagne and confetti. The basketball community is in a frenzy over Auriemma's remarks. Both the media and fans are taking his remarks to be disparaging of Clark's accomplishments.
The next Diana, down. They're out of their mind. And for these people that are waiting outside the bus for the Chicago Sky team, what the hell's wrong? What do we become, a third world soccer country? So what kind of impact is this rookie class having in the WNBA?
How do you think Clark is handling this?
I think she's handling great. I think she talks a lot of and she gets a lot of back. That when a soccer player gives up their own goal in the World Cup, you're waiting for him in a bar to shoot him? Like, what the hell are we doing here?
Yeah.
Have you ever called a player on your show a white?
No.
What gives someone the right to do that?
It appears as though he is observing a Picasso and remarking, "Meh, I've seen better stick figures." And my, how unhappy people are over it. The criticism of Auriemma has come down hard and fast. Frustrated fans are lighting up social media like a Christmas tree with their expressions. A supporter posted on Twitter saying, "Gino needs to wake up and smell the future of basketball." Is Auriemma afraid of a little competition for the spotlight? Another asked in response, hurt. The problem is, though, that Gino is more than just an aging, grouchy coach. A collision of basketball ideologies. The unconventional coaching approach of Auriemma is colliding with Clark's inventive play style. It's similar to trying to comprehend EDM while witnessing a vintage rock band. In women's basketball, there has never been a clearer age split. Playing inside a system, discipline and structure have always been key components of Auriemma's strategy. It's certainly worked wonderfully for him. But Clark? She's all about being impulsive, creative, and pushing the envelope of what is feasible on the court. Not only is she drawing beyond the lines, but she's also making an entirely new coloring book. This match is bringing attention to a developing attitude in the game. Supporters of Clark are growing stronger because they perceive her as a breath of new air. They adore her energy, her sense of flair, and the way she's changing the game. Auriemma's techniques, which were formerly regarded as the best, are beginning to seem a little... Perfectly summed up by one commenter, it is the fact that Angel Reese got a vote for MVP shows how biased this process is. This is no longer just about Clark and Auriemma. It concerns the ways in which well-known athletes shape the opinions of up-and-coming athletes. The question is whether the current guard will hand off the torch or hang on to it until the very end. This is where things become really fascinating, though. This conflict is about more than just disparities in coaching ideas or playing styles. It's drawing attention to the way we see women's basketball in general. Long-held notions about how athletes should perform, conduct themselves, and how the game should be played are being called into question by Clark's ascent. There's more to Auriemma's aversion to this shift than Clark. It concerns a whole new group of gamers who are developing original concepts for the game. They don't want to merely walk in the footsteps of their forebears. They aspire to forge their own paths and leave their own marks. You think this is only between Caitlin and Gino? Rethink your thoughts. The entire game is shifting after this confrontation. It's more than just a case of a rising star and a faltering legend. The entire landscape of women's basketball is changing in front of our eyes. In addition to drawing attention, Caitlin Clark's outstanding performance is setting a new standard for women's basketball players everywhere. She is rewriting the rules, not just participating in the game. And that has everyone paying attention, coaches, players, and fans alike. Clark plays in a way that is unlike anything we have ever seen. Her unapologetically brazen style is causing waves throughout the entire sport. It's as though she tore up the conventional playbook and proclaimed, "Watch this!" And we're watching, man. This is where things become really fascinating, though. Not only is Clark's ascent altering the way the game is played on the court, it's altering the perception of women's basketball in general. All of a sudden, there are more spectators, more people staring at TVs, and more people talking on social media. It seems as though Clark set the entire sport on fire. You know what's absurd, though? Not just pros are being impacted by this. Everywhere in the nation, young athletes are looking at Clark and saying, "I want to play like that." She's breaking records, making unthinkable shots, and dishing out assists like Halloween candy. They're wondering, if she can do it, why can't I? Simultaneously. This change is significant. We are discussing a completely new generation of players who look up to Clark. They no longer only have aspirations of playing in the WNBA. They have the same dream of altering the game as Clark does. However, the effects are being felt by more than just the participants. The coverage of women's basketball in the media is booming. All of a sudden, we're seeing in-depth assessments in leading magazines, highlights on prominent sports networks, and popular hashtags on social media. Clark has developed into a true phenomenon rather than just a player. Let's also discuss fan interaction. It's via the ceiling. People who were previously unaware of women's basketball are now paying attention to Clark's play. They're buying jerseys, packing stadiums, and generating excitement for the sport that hasn't been seen in a long time. Like Clark did all the work to make women's basketball a must-watch program on television. As of right now, some analysts believe that both college basketball and the WNBA may be at a turning point. It is anticipated that Clark's influence will result in larger contracts, more sponsorship agreements, and increased broadcast exposure for women's basketball in general. We are discussing the possibility of a golden period in the sport. The issue is that Caitlin Clark isn't the only person involved in this. Although she is the public face of this movement, she has made room for other people to take center stage. A whole new group of gifted, bold players who are eager to advance the game is emerging. And the truly thrilling thing is, this is only the start. Clark is still a young player who is always learning and developing. Can you fathom what she will be able to accomplish in a few years if she is already accomplishing all of this? What about all the young athletes who are aspiring to be just like her? It's not only a case of the guards switching positions in women's basketball. Right before our eyes, the entire sport is changing.